It's 7:47 in downtown Elgin, and time for the best show on the radio. It's Big Friday with the Fuzz. I kick it now over to the one, the only, the happiest guy in the world, Derek Cooley.
That's all right, and I've got Big Chief here in the studio. Chief Jeff Sabota here from the city of Elgin, big city of Elgin here. Over 100,000 people. Chief, how you doing today?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
We are doing well. So, also, Kyle, real quick, the super password is Wing. We'll just get out of the way. Wing was the super... No, West.
There you go.
West
Wing.
West.
There you go.
There you go. So, a couple of pretty... no press releases this week, which is a good thing. I mean, it's a good thing unless there's some information to get out there, but I did not get any press releases from Anna Lally this week. And
Nothing,
that's
yes.
a good thing. Makes my news a little bit slower, but it's not a bad thing at all. You did have a couple things this week, though. You had the Chiefs meeting. You had Coffee at the Cop. So you had Coffee at the Cop last night. How did that go?
Yeah, late night last night with the Coffee with the Cop. It was just a great meeting. We had an amazing turnout over at over on the west side off of 20, Country Donuts. I lost it for a second. I was going to try and go around the name somehow. But we were over at Country Donuts from 6 to a little after 7.
Excellent.
And it was, again, standing room only crowd because it was just that many people showed up. So it was fantastic time. Great discussion. A lot of issues with traffic. Our traffic sergeant, Kevin Senny, gets put through the paces over there because people want to know why is the speed limit this here, why isn't there a stop sign there, what's going on with this. So what's going on at the school with dropping off buses or dropping off kids from the bus. So it was a busy meeting, but it's just great. And we had a lot of officers there, so it's a great time for people to just interact with the police, and there were a lot of side conversations going on as well. Hey, I got this going on, or something's happening here with my son or daughter, and so it's just it's a great time for people to come out, get to know their police department, police officers, how the police department can help them, and if we can't help, maybe refer them to the right places. So next time if people see that Coffee with a Cop announcement go out, please stop by. It's Anna's pretty good. She keeps it to right about 1 hour, knowing people have busy schedules, but we get through the entire group, answer any questions. We talked a little bit about what we're doing here as the springtime's coming around, some of the special events and all the things happening. So it was a great meeting last night.
Yeah. How often does the Coffee at the Cop, is that once a month? Is it kind of whenever you need to probably have that meeting discussion, or is there kind of like a time frame for those?
We usually do it. We take a break during the summer because we're doing a lot of our walk and talks, and a lot of other events are going on. National night outs happening, so there's plenty of opportunities for people to interact with the police over the summer. So it's generally we pick it up somewhere around September, and then Commander Lally, I think, schedules it somewhere maybe about every 4 to 6 weeks. Yeah. So 2 or 3 times before Thanksgiving, and then we'll have 2 or 3 more here in the spring. And like I said, and this is in addition to the Chiefs meeting and all the other neighborhood meetings we go to. So it's just another opportunity for people to come out and saw a lot of faces that sometimes maybe don't make it all the way downtown Elgin, who live out on the west side, and so they came in, and we had judges there, we had teachers there, we had city council members. City Councilman Rose Martinez was there, so it was just a lot of fun to kind of just talk and socialize and see what's happening with the city. So we talked a little bit about crime stats and what's going on because we just released those, and so it's just interesting to get people's perspective and hear what's happening. So it's just a great meeting.
Speaking of meetings, monthly meetings, you have the Chiefs meeting every month, and you had one this week. You talked about body cams.
Yep.
So any further discussion about body cameras? I know 2 weeks ago and last week kind of touched on it both, but anything further that you want to mention that maybe was brought up in the meeting that we really haven't talked about yet?
No. One of the things, we've really been putting it out there. So I think there's been articles in the paper. I know the news, I think it was Channel 7, just came out again last week and talked with our technical investigations unit, so another story just running. I know I met with the chiefs of large Illinois cities yesterday. We were down in Joliet, and we're right now the only city, it's called the Chiefs of Large Illinois Cities, so it's the bigger population ones. I think it's the 8 biggest cities in Illinois, and we're the only one moving forward with it right now. Obviously, we know Chicago got the grant, as well as I think Lake County. But right now for us, Springfield was doing it. They kind of put it on hold for a little bit, so everybody was kind of joking that, okay, we'll just sit and watch Elgin either succeed or fail with this. I said, no, we'll succeed. Yeah. But it's we're out there kind of on an island with pushing forward with these. And other places have them, but with Illinois and the Freedom of Information laws and storage, we're still looking at how we're going to even store it. We're not sure, are we going to be using the cloud, or are we going to be having our own servers in-house? So we're still researching all of that, and we're going to make the best decision here over the next couple of months, and then there'll be more information to come. But it was great. Anna did a nice presentation, Commander Lally, so the residents could see the cameras, see how they work, gave examples of how they work, expectation of privacy, when can officers have the camera on, when can't they, when can they shut it off, when can they not shut it off. So really just educating people. So it's I think nobody should be surprised about body cameras. We've been talking it to death, but it's a good thing because it's such a big, it's such a change in how policing will be done. And there's already been 2 examples of officers who were on calls and somebody wanted to come in and make a complaint and say the officer did something, which the body camera clearly showed the officer did not do. So it's already serving a purpose that it's already protecting officers, and like I said, it'll also give that third-hand view of giving exactly what happened out on the street. So protect the citizen and the officers and everyone involved, so that the truth can be just easily seen by everybody. So it's really going to be serving a purpose. It's going to be a lot of work. It's expensive. It's going to require more personnel within the police department.
Absolutely.
And so it's a big endeavor. It's not one to be taken lightly, but we're excited for it.
Yeah, and you kind of just answered my next question. You said you obviously want to see, people are saying, let's see Elgin if they're going to succeed or fail, and you said, we're going to succeed, obviously. And succeeding to you, obviously, would be, the added evidence in the courtroom for complaints, especially citizens against officers, officers against citizens, just kind of clearing things up. Is the success just defined as just a more fluid transition and more fluid, I guess, resolution for some of these complaints? Is that what you really kind of the ultimate goal of the body cameras is, to be able just to take these situations that either citizens are complaining or whatnot, and other things that citizens do say about traffic cops or traffic stops or other situations, to whether a cop is at a stop or anything? Is the success more the evidence side, or more safety on both ends, the cop and the citizen?
I think it's all of it. The complaint issue is really just a small one. It's big, involving, when complaints come in, it can be a big deal for officers. But really, what the body cameras are going to do are, show how we're out there doing the police work in general. Yeah. So it'll show the traffic stops. It'll show how we interact with the public. It'll be, the officer first on the scene. When we turn it on, it automatically goes back 30 seconds. So, we'll be walking around and something could happen in front of an officer as we're walking up to a fight, as we're walking up to, kids doing whatever, it'll have it, and then as the officer turns it on, so people will be able to see exactly what's going on. So I think that the transparency, making sure people see, because you always hear, about policing, and like we've talked about many times, policing is in the need for reform in many areas with, how transparent people are, and there's incidents, whether you're talking about Chicago or around the country, where people are upset with police departments, and many times rightly so. And so this will really just be a chance for us to really highlight, and I'm very proud of how we police out there in Elgin, so I want more people to see our officers and how we respond. So I think it's more going to be, the state's attorney's going to use it for prosecuting crimes. We're going to show it in just all the positive context we have with the police, but it'll also be a way for kind of that third-party view. So if somebody just wants to say an officer said something or did something inappropriately, the camera will help with that. But, and Commander Lally stresses this during every one of her presentation, everything's not going to be caught on the camera. Cameras fail, cameras break, the camera, for whatever reason, wasn't turned on, the camera's pointed the wrong way. Obviously if that happens all the time, on big scenes, that's a problem, but from time to time, the cameras aren't going to capture what we want it to capture. So we're always trying to set, the expectations for the community and for the officers that, this will again be another tool that we can use to show our professionalism, but it's not always going to be, hey, what happened on that traffic? Oh, let's just pull up the camera. Well, that officer might not have a camera because, as we're going to phase this in, not everyone's going to have one on the very first day. So there's going to be some, when we say succeed or fail, we'll ultimately succeed, but along the way we'll have some small failures and some, setbacks, and say, this, we already found by testing all the cameras, some were better than others.
And those are needed.
Some of the equipment, exactly. And so you need it to, wow, this one's kind of flimsy, this one broke easy. So as we go through it, that's where we're finding a lot of things that are really helping us make the best decision possible.
Yeah. Speaking of cameras, let's go to the new approved grant money you got for the new telescope camera that we talked about earlier in our pre-meeting. Sounded very interesting. If you want to just talk a little bit about that camera, and maybe what kind of scenes you kind of use that at, because it seems pretty cool. So kind of first, I guess, describe what it is and then how you would implement it.
Yeah, really proud of our technical investigations unit. We got some grant money that we've been getting over the past few years, and we work with collaboration with Aurora Police Department and Kane County Sheriff's Office. And we kind of share a grant pool. And what we're going to use with our portion of the grant money is a camera that's put on a hitch type of, kind of a trailer of sorts, and we'll be able to raise it up. I think the height of it is 25 feet. So at any major scene, back up. So all of our cameras that we have that we've been working on, that I just talked about, the news being out, our real-time information center that we have going on, all of whenever we have a camera, it can be brought back to the police department, stored at the police department. And this will be another example of this. So we could have, the concerts that go on. We've borrowed a camera once before, and those cameras were they're a very similar camera to what we're buying, and they can be $50,000. Where it goes up, you're able to get 360-degree view, pan tilt zoom, go in on people when there's a lost child, when there's a drunk acting up in the middle of a crowd, we can, before officers go in, we can have a view from 25 feet up looking down to see what's going on. Major incidents when we have hostage standoffs or or some of our SWAT call outs, and we'll be able to loan it out. If the Public Works has something that they need kind of a bird's eye view from, the fire department can use it, Parks and Recs. So we're really excited for this camera, and it's just one more step in the technology that we have. And so our technical investigations unit was able to build this camera. We bought a hitch, bought a boom, put some cameras on it, so we're able to do it kind of on the cheap. And again, it's grant money that we're getting. And I think it's right around $13,000 compared to if we were just to go out and buy this type of camera, which, again, it's going to be very helpful for the police department. It'd be about $50,000. So not only is it grant money, but we also got it very cheap. So we're excited that the city council approved this. So it's just another piece of technology that the police department is putting out there to continue to have better scenes. So something could happen right here, and a major accident or something happened in the middle of an intersection. We can, as soon as we put that camera up, we can now from our phones. I'd be able to pull it up from my phone and be able to watch it. I'd be able to go, if I'm at the station, go down to our real-time information center and watch it there. So it just allows for better kind of command and control, so everybody doesn't have to go to the scene to see it. We can broadcast it back to other places.
Yeah, absolutely. So that real-time is really important. Also, you mentioned the use of it for the fire department, for public works. I mean, that'd be great for a lot of situations, and not every rough situation around there. It could be a traffic incident that's not really involved with the police. It could be a house fire. It could be public works where they're fixing a sewer break or something like that, and they need kind of a bird's eye view of the traffic situation. So definitely a lot of uses here in the community. So, and it's great that you got not only the grant money but also kind of built it yourself on the cheap, so saved a bunch of money on that too. So
yeah, and the city manager is really pushing with this. I think it also comes from the mayor and council that police don't need all the equipment just for the police. So when we're doing all these things, we're kind of the ones that we do a lot of the research and development for the entire city with technology. So as we're moving forward, then, okay, here's this great piece of equipment, here's how we're going to use it for police, and then be able to dole it out as well and say, okay, who else needs it? Well, the public works can say, I could use it on this type of call, or fire department can say, I could use it on this type of call. So then obviously we can share that, so that, obviously we don't need public works to go out and buy a similar camera themselves. It's like, the city departments can share, and I think that's what the taxpayers would expect as well. So yeah, we'll have this great piece of equipment. It'll assist us tremendously, but it'll also assist many other departments within the city.
Excellent. So let's talk a couple of things. We had a CERT party this past week for people that participated in the CERT program, and we do have CERT programs coming up, as well as Senior Citizens Police Academy, as well as the Citizens Police Academy here in Elgin. So do you have start dates or registration, or where can people find more information to register? Because I know those programs are really popular.
Yeah, if you go to the city's website, I think it's I know it's cityofelgin.org, but then I think it's /CERT or /CPA for Citizens Police Academy. But Monday night was a busy night, so we had the Chiefs meeting, in which we had great turnout for that. But then also in the other room right next door, we had our CERT party. And once a year, Karen Flanagan, who runs our CERT team. So when we say CERT, that's Community Emergency Response Team. So if you see them, they wear the bright color shirts. They're out on many police calls. They assist fire, as well. Anytime there's, sometimes there's down wires or after a major storm. And our CERT team is just amazing. Karen Flanagan, again, runs this team, and it's something the police department's been developing for years. And I think we've trained, hundreds. I think we're probably in the thousands now of people that we've trained. And we have a great group of probably close to 100 now that we can make a phone call and have them come out on any scene. And like I said, sometimes it might be a major crash that occurs. Sometimes it might be a snowstorm with which electricity is down. We've had them out on our standoffs. So if we have a hostage standoff or some type of a SWAT team operation in which we're out for hours, they sometimes just help us even running, getting water. They help us with traffic control. And Karen and I were talking, so at the Monday meeting, kind of a little bit of a party to say thank you for them. They had pictures of all the scenes that they were at over the year. And I remember talking with Karen. I was working the day we called out the CERT team for the first time, and it was when a train struck a van in which a couple people lost their lives over on Kimball Street. And it was just a tragic scene. It was just a very hectic scene. It was around rush hour. And so I saw Karen, and she's like, we said, let's get the CERT team up. And within 15 minutes, I think she had 7 or 8 people. And then within a half hour, I think we had 10 or 15 people that were able to come out, direct traffic, relieve officers. I think it was really cold that day, if I'm remembering right. And so they were able to give officers breaks. They're just they're just used so often. And like I said, we put a post on Facebook of all the things that the police department does, and I'm very proud of. One of the things that's at the top of that list is our CERT team, and really kudos to Karen and her team, who is just fantastic. And they're have their phones on all hours of the day and night, and they're people who get trained beforehand to say that if disaster strikes, it doesn't have to be a tornado, although it could be that. It could just be floodwaters that the Fox is or one of our river or streams in town is over the banks, and so they help with evacuations. They've helped with the fire department at major scenes, and so they're really just an incredible resource. The police department just thanks them all the time. They come down to our roll calls. They're always around the department, and they're just one of our bright spots. So if anybody out there, this sounds interesting, they want to get into law enforcement, they want to get into becoming a firefighter someday, they want to get into city government, it's a great way to volunteer. It's a free class. It's 2 nights a week for 3 weeks, and there's one coming up in March. So please, if you're interested in that, come on out, take the class. And many times it's just for yourself. It might just be for yourself and your family. If something happens in your own home, how to shut off the gas, how to shut off the water, how to make sure that your home is safe if the basement's flooded. So it's a lot of just kind of things that all of us as homeowners could learn. And so it's a great program. So watch for the CERT announcements.
Excellent. So pretty much covered it there. I mean, if you really want to get involved, you really want to be part of something bigger than yourself, and you want to get involved professionally with policing and firefighting, CERT's a great way to start, because you'll be involved in scenes and real-time action, and also learn very valuable lessons in that as well. And same with the Citizens Police Academy. Just real quick, you learn kind of the ins and outs of the police department, kind of from the horse's mouth, from police department.
Yeah, that one's a little bit longer. I think it's 8 weeks or so, and we have the Citizens Police Academy, and then we have a Citizens Police Academy for senior citizens, and the only difference is the senior one is in the morning. I think it starts at like 9 in the morning, and the other one is in the evening, and it goes from somewhere like 6 to 8 or 6 to 9. So each one of them will be filled up very quickly. So if you're interested in going through each of those, but yeah, different officers come in and teach their expertise. Our gang unit comes in and teaches about gangs in Elgin. Our traffic division talks about traffic stops. I talk about the administration of the police department. Our technical investigations team talks about a camera. So yeah, you get to learn so much. You get to know the police department, and then hopefully many become part of our alumni association. And they're the ones who come in, volunteer. They come in, they bring food to the officers on Thanksgiving and on Christmas. They are part of our fundraising that goes on around the year. It's just our alumni association for the Citizen Police Academy is just fantastic. So watch for that as well. Come on out and learn more about your police department and what we're doing. And as we've talked about crime stats and how we're really pushing down the crime rates here in Elgin, it's really because of the successful partnerships we have with all of these groups. And the police department couldn't be successful without all these groups who step up and work alongside, shoulder to shoulder with us. So come on out and get to know your police department a little bit better, whether it's CERT, whether it's Citizens Police Academy, and again, the officers love having the CERT members and the CP AAA people around, and I know many people like to come in and give back to the community, and through the police department, it's a great way to do it.
Excellent. Well, Jeff, as always, it's a pleasure having you, Chief of Police here in the City of Elgin, in the studio with us once again, and we will talk soon.
Thanks, I really appreciate it, and thanks for having me. Everybody have a great weekend.
Yeah, it's a big Friday for us here.
Big Friday. Big.
You're listening to AM 1410 WRMN in Elgin, Illinois.